ABC Late News, it's been a pleasure having your company. Bye for now.
Hello, welcome to a special feature on Ticket to the Cup. I'm Tracy Holmes. The Matildas' journey to the FIFA 2023 Women's World Cup has been quite a ride. 2.5 years ago, Swede Tony Gustafsson was named as the new national coach after a period of turmoil in the squad. While not well known here, he came well credentialed. He was a former head coach of numerous men's and women's teams and an assistant coach to the World Cup winning US national women's team. But the former school teacher had done his own homework before accepting the role. He knew that he would be under intense pressure, scrutinised all the way, because the Matildas are a fan favourite. But there's a niggling reputation that while they've always promised much, they underdeliver in the big games. So now that pressure is all on his shoulders. Before sitting down with the coach, I want to take you back to the very first press conference he gave, where he was introduced to the Australian media for the first time as the head coach of the Matildas.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to tonight's virtual press conference, coming to you aptly from the Matildas room at FFA headquarters in Sydney and also the Australian High Commission Australia House in London. By now, I'm sure you'll have heard the news that experienced Swedish coach Tony Gustafsson has been appointed as the new head coach of the Westfield Matildas through to the completion of Australia's Paris 2024 Olympic Games campaign. Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you very much. I am extremely proud. I know there's a lot of coaches out there with qualities that would love to sit here in my position today, and that you picked me to do that. I'm extremely proud and appreciate and excited to get this started. I also had the privilege to talk to both players and staff this morning and said I can't wait to meet them in person and get this going. I also want to say one of the key reasons why I said yes to this job is that the Federation have shown that they are really keen and willing to invest in women's football. Just reading the 11 Principles document, you can see the emphasis and focus on women's football. And the fact that we have a World Cup on home soil in 23 is extremely excited, even though we have a lot of important tournaments ahead of us before that. But it's obviously also a big reason why I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Tony. The first question we're going to ask is from Tracy Holmes from ABC in Australia.
Thank you, Tony. Congratulations on the appointment. We know that you've experienced success at a World Cup level and at an Olympic Games level, but can you explain how different this position feels for you in your career?
Well, I've been a head coach most of the time throughout my 21 years as a coach. The only time I've been an assistant is with the US. How different is it? Well, I think the timing of when to take a job is important, and I think this is the right time for me to take a job like this. I think the timing for the team and the Federation and me was great. I've always said I want to enjoy the football journey and the journey ahead of us now with 4 important tournaments 4 years in a row. I love to compete and get the chance to compete with the Matildas every year for 4 consecutive years is an amazing opportunity and a once in a lifetime opportunity, and that's what's maybe different from some of the other jobs that I had previously.
Tony Gustafsson, here we are. We're on the edge of this thing called the World Cup. It's suddenly starting to feel real for everybody else. Where are you at the moment?
Oh, it's a massive moment. I mean, having the privilege to be head coach for a team that has the World Cup on home soil, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, both for a coach and a player, I think. And I feel extremely privileged to be a small part of something that is much bigger than me and much bigger than 90-minute football. Every place you are as a coach, I had the privilege to coach for 23 years, is special and gives you something special. But this is definitely right up there, and special also because it's such a special team and special group of people. And then you're able to share that with the whole nation that's going to be behind the team. It's, I'm very privileged.
And why do you say that it's a special team and a special group of people? What were you imagining before you came, and what surprised you once you immersed yourself into this thing called the Matildas?
I have massively high expectations when I came in. That's why I took the job. I sat on the opposition technical area coaching against the Matildas at a few occasions, and I felt that there was something special with this team. Every time I coached against them, I felt there was an it factor there, but I didn't understand what it was until I came on the inside of the circle and get the knowledge what this team is all about. It's very difficult to put words to it, but everything that these women stands for in terms of family and united people and the values they stand for as human beings, not just footballers. The never say die attitude and the commitment, like the till it's done, like that statement, like they never give up. They give it 100 from the first whistle to the last one. And then how they also want to inspire the next generation of footballers. But also have to admit the way they play football. It mirrors exactly like me as a coach. I'm always been very attacking minded. This team is attacking minded. We want to press the opposition. We want to attack. We want to score goals. No matter if we rank below or maybe on paper doesn't have the best team, but we know we can beat the best team if we play the way we stand for. So there's a lot of values this team stands for that I love to work with.
The FIFA World Cup provided a deadline that could not be moved. Like a chess grandmaster, Gustafsson devised his strategy. Given his contacts in European football, where some of the most competitive teams in the world are based, he organised a series of internationals that would achieve two things. One, the players would get an immediate wake-up call. By losing to some big nations, they would realise pretty quickly how much work they had to do if they were going to challenge the world's best by the time of the World Cup.
My opinion is that we need to play as many games as possible against the best opposition possible. And that's just easy to look at the rankings and see how do I want to play. I want to play as tough of a schedule as possible.
Secondly, he could experiment a little, building options and depth needed for a big tournament, where injuries to key players are a constant looming threat.
It's about trying to get results in this tournament and win the tournament. We don't want to do it on the expense on the development and tournament experience for young players. It's about the long-term legacy 23 and beyond. Not just preparation for the World Cup, it's also investments past that World Cup. And the answers we got now, I think, is a wake-up call for a lot of people.
And the coach likes what he sees so far.
But the plan had unforeseen consequences. The media had not bought into his strategy, either caught unawares or simply not listening to the clues he'd given in press conferences. They questioned his strategy, ridiculed the losses, and challenged his ability as head coach.
You got, at my count, 1 win in 18 games against top 20 opponents. So where is the improvement?
Well, I think if you look at a 45-minute today, I hope that we saw some improvement in terms of the fact that we can dominate a top team, not just compete with them. I hope that can be looked upon as an improvement, and also to be able to do that with 6 key players out, meaning I hope that we can see, or you guys can see, that maybe in a year and a half ago, if we played Canada with 6 key injuries, we wouldn't have been able to dominate them like we did in 45. At least that's how I look at it. I don't want to sit here and protect myself, but that's how I look at it. That's an improvement. But we still have ways to go in terms of the World Cup, meaning we need to put 90-minute solid performance together.
It is concerning. You can't concede 10 goals in 2 games. It's probably, it's one of the toughest few weeks that the Matildas have had in a long time. The team looked incredibly disjointed. They looked out of place defensively, conceding 10 goals. There's no denying that there's defensive work that needs to be done.
It's calamitous defending by the Matildas.
They wanted it more than us. That's not okay. We're the Matildas. It's in our DNA to always give it 100, to play a physical game, to be aggressive, to wear the crest on the chest and always play our best. And it felt like Ireland wanted it more.
It's a disaster and it's a failure. 20 games now under Tony Gustafsson. And I want someone to plot me the growth trajectory on this team.
I think it's more so important that we have a good performance so that the people can identify themselves with us as a team.
Is the coach in trouble?
Well, it would be very difficult for them to replace a coach within 12 months of a World Cup. I mean, it does happen, but...
8 wins from 25 games so far is his record. Can't get rid of a coach less than a year out from a home World Cup. It's going to be such a massive event next year.
It can. These things do happen.
Well,
but
it happened with the last coach, didn't it?
They won't
Why
want
does
to.
it keep coming up?
Yeah.
because they keep losing.
It's eyes will be on the Matildas, absolutely. I mean, I think our expectations were probably a little bit too elevated given that golden run they had a couple of years ago. But they're certainly not playing. They should be playing a lot better football than they are at the moment.
And I'd say right now we're not where we need to be and where we want to be, but that doesn't mean we're in a bad place. I've been around long enough to come back from a situation like this and learn from it. And also want to reach out to you who stand in front of me now. I think we do this together, every single one of us, including media as well. So thanks for being here, thanks for the support, thanks for the covering that you do of the game, and thanks for all your opinion, even if you disagree with my lineup, but thanks for covering the game.
Riding out the criticism and believing in each other, the team's cohesion grew. With victory over some of the world's strongest teams, everything appears to be coming together at the critical time. The biggest challenge now? Managing the emotion in the final countdown to a home World Cup. This question is for both of you. First of all, Sam, you talk about the emotion. I think this part of the fence is starting to feel that emotion and realise that it's actually happening, it's here. And so I want to know what each of the players are going through, and do you ride on different highs and lows in a 24-hour period? Do you help each other through that? And Tony, as the coach, you're watching over this, even if they tell you they're okay. How are you monitoring this kind of emotion heading into what is the final countdown?
Yeah, well, I think like you said, it's up and down. I mean, last Thursday when the squad was announced, it was, so exciting for some of us, and then you walk into the dinner room and it's an emotional roller coaster having to say bye to some of your mates. It's never easy, but I think coming back into camp today, everyone's so excited, the buzz is there, and it kind of feels like now's the time. I guess we've kind of been all fighting for a spot, and now we can really knuckle down and, put into this team and get ready for the first game, whereas before we've kind of been at clubs, been doing our own things, so it's been hard to kind of think about the World Cup and not get too far ahead of ourselves. But now we're just excited, we're ready. Like, we feel if the game was tomorrow, we'd be much happier because we can play it. But yeah, I think for me personally, it is a bit of a wait. It's a long time away. It feels like everyone keeps saying you're excited. I'm like, I'm ready. Like, I want the game to be now. I can't wait till we walk out of that tunnel at Stadium Australia, and just it's going to be such a big moment. And then it's going to be amazing.
And that's the excitement I need to manage. So sometimes holding back a bit, even myself, because we really want to play.
Being a coach doesn't just mean you look at how they play the game. You've got to be on top of their psychology. You've got to be on top of how you blend the personalities. You've got to be on top of how they respond to media criticism, and there's always a lot of that. How do you juggle all of those things? And does it then become important that you have a team around you that can take some of that pressure from you?
Starting there, I think that's a very, very good question, and I'm really happy that the Federation have jumped on board in the process of developing this program with more resources. Everything from a full team sport science that can work with the physical development of the team, to a psychologist in every camp and even a resource in between camps, to a nutritionist, to a high performance manager, to a well-being manager, because this is people that we're dealing with, not just footballers, to a full-time goalkeeper coach, a full-time physio. Like, all these resources around me is definitely a key. If you're talking about managing players and what we need to do when there's noise around, is to make sure that we believe in our process, we believe in what we do and what we stand for, and there's always going to be noise. Whether that's about the selected 23, that I selected the wrong roster, or whether we did the sub too early or too late in the game, or if it was the wrong starting lineup or wrong formation, or there's always going to be opinions, but as long as you stay loyal and true and believe in what you do, and I think this team have been helped by being criticized a bit throughout the last 2 years, because we went through a very tough development process when the result wasn't there for different reasons. For example, 18 debutants and a really tough schedule, and building an identity and information and playing style, me getting to know the players, how to get the most out of them. But staying true and loyal to and believing in what we did have created this massive belief going into this World Cup.
When he said, trust me, this is going to be really hard, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Have you seen that already? Do you feel like that trust was well placed?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you get a new coach who comes on board at a crucial time, you have to trust in what they're bringing to the team and the processes that we're going to follow. And I think we've done that. We went through a period where we were losing a bunch of games, but I think we came out on the other side of that and we're now on a little bit of an unbeaten streak. So I think it shows that trusting the process and trusting the coach does work out in the end. And yeah, now, like I said, we're on this little bit of unbeaten run and we're like heading into the World Cup with some really good wins under our belt, ready for the biggest tournament that we'll ever be in.
Can you tell me about some of the personalities in the team and how you draw out the best in them and how you put them together and make them function as a team?
First and foremost, I think it's very, very important that I use the same quote to my kids, meaning if it's a player, I'm going to say, I love you for who you are, but I'm going to treat you for who you can become. Meaning, you're okay as you are. I accept you, I love you for who you are, but I'm going to treat you, because I see the potential, I'm going to treat you for who you can become. And if a human being feels that, you believe in them, and that the potential is higher than where you are now, they're going to want to develop, they're going to want to get better. And those different personalities in the group, if there's a space that everyone doesn't have to be the same, we just need to respect each other for who we are, and different can be good. Different can be really good, because then we have different qualities. Me as a coach, I need different coaches around me with completely different personalities than me, so they can complete me. And it's the same with a team of players.
We had a chat with the coach, Tony Gustafsson, and he was giving us, his story, I guess, and what he wanted to do with all of you to bring out not just better players inside you, but better people that he could see that you could become. What do you think he's brought the squad?
For a lot of people, that, human connection and feeling like people care about you and you're comfortable to be yourself, that always reflects well on the pitch when you feel more comfortable and happy off the pitch with your teammates. So I think that's an environment that we create here at the Matildas, so that everyone, young and old, or if you've just walked through the doors, you feel welcomed and you feel like you're able to be yourself and express that on the field.
A team is at its best when each individual is just being themselves and bring their qualities to the team in the best level that they can. So even though it's a team sport, I think, like you say, it is also very individual. Like, there's so much that you have to do on your own to work on yourself and to bring your qualities to the field, because not everyone is the same player, and you don't want everyone to be the same player. So I think it's kind of being able to find that freedom within a team structure to do what you can do, because when you show up as your best self, then you add value to the team.
It is a player-led team, and we all buy in to what each other are doing outside of the national team as well. And just the level of respect that we all have for each other, whether you're a staff member or a player. I think that has always been a consistent sort of thing that's helped us move forward as well. So yeah, I definitely think those are contributors, and everything that's kind of happened around us and been built around us has kind of been based on that foundation.
There's a core group of players who are incredibly experienced, from the captain through to the goalkeeper, Lydia Williams, a 5th World Cup for her. But as you say, you've bled these debutants, you've brought new people in. You also told them at the start to trust you in this journey, and that it wasn't going to be easy, because I think the Australian public had this opinion maybe that we were better than we were, because we had a habit of playing teams that were worse than us, and we scored a lot of goals against them. And then in the big moments, that's where the reality set in. You had to take the team on that journey, didn't you? And they bought in. How did you convince them that it was going to be tough, ignore that noise, we're going to face some losses because we're playing the best teams, but this is what we're going to need to do to win the World Cup?
Well, I'm forever going to be thankful for the trust that the players gave in me when it comes to that, because it has not been easy for them. I throw them into the deep waters. We played very, very top opposition, top-ranked oppositions. We played European oppositions, which historically in tournaments have been very bad stats against. I was presented a report from the Federation saying, here we have identified some problems over the last couple of decades. Lack of depth. There's a gap report presented to me. You need to invest in this, Tony. And also some stats in terms of oppositions in tournaments when we're top ranked and European. And we said, if we do that at the same time, blooding new players in and play the toughest schedule in the history of the program, it might cost us results. But in the long run, we need to do it. And I think it was a little bit of a wake-up call for some people. But like I said, the players have been phenomenal, because it's not easy. Imagine yourself a player know that, hey, if we put the strongest team out there today, maybe we can fight and get a tie or win with 1 goal. But if we play some debutants, we need depth. All of a sudden, they play with players that haven't played with before, they didn't have the experience, and they might not have been ready at that point. But when are they going to get ready if we don't get the opportunity to actually play? And now we see 7 debutants in the roster of 23 in the World Cup, and that itself is part of the legacy of 23 and beyond. It's not just about 90-minute football and the result. It's also about what will leave behind us post this World Cup, looking to the future of this program.
Gustafsson is contracted through to the Paris Olympics in 2024. If Australia wins the World Cup, he may stay even longer. Whenever he leaves, he's already guaranteed a legacy. The Matildas now has a depth in talent unlike any time in its history. He's brought in new names, tested those that were on the fringe, given more time to others he knew could deliver more. They will be the stars of the future with the chance to shine today. Players like Matilda number 202, Mary Fowler, and the newest Matilda, number 224, Claire Hunt. Did you expect to be named in this squad, or did you think maybe because you're one of the newcomers you might not be included, or did you know that your ability put you in there definitely?
I was talking to Tony about this when we were having our meeting about the squad, and I think for me it was more just I wanted that, but I didn't expect it. So it was something I hoped for but didn't expect. And I think now that I can sit back and go, I'm a part of this team, and regardless of how recent my debut was or how recently I came into the squad, I think for me it's more just I'm here now, I'm a member of the squad, and I'm just willing to contribute like anyone else. So.
And when he told you were in?
Because you're in the World Cup roster team.
Just excitement, I think, would be the best way to describe it. Relief and excitement.
He actually brought the core group in, and it was sort of the group that, had grown up together, and we'd been together for, quite a while, since we were probably 16, 17 years old, and we were all in a room together, and he read out some quotes that we had mentioned from the team throughout the years, and we were sort of just all in a circle, and he just said, I want to let you guys know that you are going to be a part of the World Cup squad this year. And we all sort of looked at each other, took it in for a second, but it was a really special moment to have that together, because we have been together for such a long time, and it was really nice.
Yeah, huge relief for me. Sustaining kind of that major injury 8 months ago, I think for me it was a stressful time. There's been a roller coaster of emotions over the last 8 months, and I just did all I possibly could day in, day out, kept my focus, and I guess, I rode the ebbs and flows of a rehab, and I couldn't be prouder to be here and to be selected for the World Cup squad. And it's just a massive honour for me, really.
Oh, it really feels quite, full circle. I remember when it was my first one, so to kind of be around for number 5 is pretty incredible, but really humbling as well.
For those who don't closely follow the ins and outs and the psychology of sport, it's difficult to adequately describe the enormous pressure the coach and the players are under. Some of it is imagined, some of it self-inflicted, some of it is the noise and criticism from the outside. But the reality is this: in this game where the talent is both the worker and the product, future career prospects will rise or fall on this tournament. But so too will the future of Australian women's football, as it endeavours to establish itself as Australia's #1 sport of choice. The recipe for success is a mix of talent, repetition, luck, the blending of personalities, the ability to constantly strive for excellence, none of which is possible without a deep-seated passion. You love it, don't you? You love it.
I do. I do.
Are you mad? I don't know how anyone is a football coach or a football goalkeeper, or a referee, seriously, but that love, that passion is, it bubbles over. We can feel that. What is it about being a coach of football, and what is it when you see the team perform? It's like, controlling the orchestra. Well,
you know how to trigger the right question to get me emotional here. I think I've always been very, very passionate to work with people, first and foremost. I'm a teacher by degree, math and PE, raised in a family with sport and teaching from early age, working with people, having parents working with people, always been passionate about helping others. This mantra that you probably heard me say way too many times now about one day better instead of one day older. Do I wake up every morning and try to evolve and get one day better, or help someone get one day better? And that feeling of seeing someone and knowing that you help someone to get a step closer to their full potential, there's something about that is addictive. And when you say, I'm a bit mad, maybe I am, but for me that is an addiction. To help others and see others succeed and develop, it's a feeling that is better than anything else.
How have you got one day better each day over these past 2.5 years?
Oh, I've learned so much. I think self-reflection is key. Asking yourself the question at night, what did I learn today? Was my pre-training presentation good? Could have done something better. Was my coaching good enough today? Could have done something better. It can be feedback from coaches around me. We have a very, very open conversation when we sometimes lock ourselves in what we call the war room, where we plan the strategic plans of how to win the football war, the 90-minute football. And in there, we're very open in conversation as well, what I could have done differently, how we can work better together. I work very closely with the players in terms of review and feedbacks as well. How can we improve everything from presentation templates to training methodology to communication from the bench in games? I'm a very emotional in-game coach, and I can definitely improve in that. So I think, but self-reflection and knowing you have people around you that wants you to become better. So when you get feedback, it's not that you get criticized, it's actually people around you that want to help you get better.
We're getting a wind up because you've got a team to go and coach to a World Cup, but I do want to finish with one question, and that is, what can you tell the Australian public? How can you tell them to enjoy this ride with the Matildas, because there will be no ride like it?
I think this is one of those crossroad moments that in 10 or 20 years' time, when we tell stories to our friends, our relatives, our kids, our grandkids, and say, I was there, this is one of those moments that we want to sit there and tell those stories. I was there, I was part of it, because this is so much bigger than 90-minute football. This is a legacy 23 and beyond that we all want to be part of. And these players jump on board and support these players and believe in these players the way they believe in themselves and the way they believe in this team. And if we can unite around that, I think we're going to experience something that we all can be extremely proud of.
Tony Gustafsson, good luck to you and good luck to the Matildas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.